Hello folks, well it's that time again. Here we are, lunchtime, best time of day if you're working. So we're on to session 3. In the last session, casting our minds back, we had Lorne, our cleric, bumbling his way through a cyberpunk outpost that was full of portals. And we've now sort of determined that there are these outposts for each of the realms that will have a number of portals in them, linking them to each other. So yeah, that was decided, that was added to the world building. Lorne came across Jax, who was a thief, sci-fi style thief. Now in my head, the difference between sci-fi and cyberpunk is the difference between Star Trek and Blade Runner, let's say. So in my head, sci-fi is that very lots of aliens and strange species, whereas cyberpunk is a bit more futuristic, I guess. But yeah, so we met Jax, the sci-fi thief, so like your Han Solo, I guess, or someone like that. Yep. And rolling up session 3, our first roll was our setting, which was sci-fi, which was handy. And we also rolled up our class for our hero, and it was a thief, which all seems very fated. So we're gonna run with Jax. We're gonna continue with this character. Kind of trying to link the campaign together in a very loose way. His objective is a rescue mission, and starts with 6 health, 4 gold, and I decided to roll up a few questions just to give me a broad overview of what's going on. So, first important question, does Jax know the target that he's rescuing? And that was a no but. So no but, they have heard of them. So they're aware of them, don't know them, not a close friend or something like that. The next question was, are they an ally? Which was a yes but. So that gave me the idea that they're sort of rivals. Maybe there's groups or factions that all sort of compete for these artifacts. Different groups of realm walkers and things like that. So I put the yes, they're rivals, and out of curiosity I decided, are they a rival in this realm or another realm? So I just thought I'd roll a random realm. If it landed on sci-fi, they're, straightforward competition. But yeah, rolled up cyberpunk, which is interesting considering we're just in the cyberpunk outpost. So I then asked, is this going to be linked to the last session? So the raid on the cyberpunk outpost by Lorne and the subsequent escape of Jax. And I put no but. So the no but was, cyberpunk world are now going to be aware of Jax and the fact he escaped, so it might make the mission a little bit more difficult. And finally I put, is the cyberpunk portal guarded? So where Jax is going to jump into, is it heavily guarded? And it was a yes but. Jax knows an access point, so it means he can go from the sci-fi realm to the cyberpunk portal undetected. In my head, the sci-fi realm is deep space, so you're going to be exploring ships or planets, I suppose. You can roll for either, but yeah, either way, whether this is aboard a sort of outpost station or hidden on a planet, Jax, being a thief, knows how to sneak in. So going to try a bit more sort of envisioning when we're sort of rolling through. So the first roll, when coming through the portal, Jax sort of finding himself, I'd imagine it's on like a space station, maybe an abandoned space station. He sort of finds the portal he's looking for, steps through, and finds himself in a small room, which was a 5. So then I had to roll for the event in the small room, which was an NPC. Which complicates things, because a rescue mission is to roll for an NPC and find one, and we've done it. First 2 rolls. So I had to ask some questions to try and kind of get things moving. And I put, is this the target? I asked the Oracle, is this the target? And it said, yes, straight yes. So I rolled a quick NPC name for them, which was Gare. And then I thought to myself that surely there must be a catch. Like, we were sent to rescue this person. So they're not from this realm, they're from the cyberpunk realm. So clearly they have some information or some use to the sci-fi realm. So sci-fi realm walkers. So I asked, are they imprisoned? And the answer was no. So I extrapolated from that if they're not imprisoned, they are from the sci-fi realm, but they've turned traitor. So the question I asked before was, are they in this realm? Are they in the sci-fi realm? The answer was no. So they are a sci-fi realm walker that has found themselves in the cyberpunk realm, and they've turned traitor. So that then leads me to the problem that I imagine Jax is going to get grabbed straight off the bat, which means he now has a new quest, which is to get out of there. And so I'm going to do this as a remove quest, because essentially he's trying to fight his way out and, get past as many guards or enemies as he possibly can, to ideally make his way back to the portal home. So we could ask the Oracle if during any of the kind of scuffles he manages to get hold of any items that might be useful. I'm guessing he's going to need some form of key card to escape. So we can kind of roll that into the narrative by saying he also needs to recover a piece of loot. So I think we're just going to kind of roll with it and see where it goes. Obviously, if we roll up a loot, that would be great. But, he's fighting his way out. He's not really paying attention to how he escapes. He's just going to be dashing down corridors, bursting into rooms and seeing what happens. So, getting my dice up, we are going to be rolling our first steps. Well, I say our first steps, our second steps, to be fair. And it's a T-junction. So kind of, I would imagine he put in some form of holding cell, or just some form of interrogation room. At the first chance he's gotten, he's found a way to pick the lock and sneak out. He's a thief. That's what they do. And he's going to be in this kind of, I almost envision them like, a bit like Dread. They're sort of like tower blocks of offices and, lots of sort of scientific-y equipment, lots of digital locks and, the sort of stuff you see in Blade Runner and Dread and those kind of post-apocalyptic sort of dark noir sci-fi sort of films. So yeah, he's going to come out into a T-junction and he's just going to pick a random direction, heads left, straight into a left turn and a right turn and another T-junction. Just, he's just dashing down corridors, Jax is. And as is the rule, the endless corridors rule that I tend to use if I have 3 or more directions in a row, then I'm going to roll for a room. So roll for a room, 1 to 3 is small, 4 to 6 is large, and it's a 1, so it's a small room. So it's got 1 event in it. And it'll be a 3, which is a trap. So being a thief, he gets a +1 bonus on traps. So let's roll up and see if he can overcome this trap, which should theoretically be easier because he gets a +1. And that's a massive fail. That's a 1, which even with the bonus is now only a 2. So instead of losing 2 health, he loses 1, which takes him to 5 HP. So next we're going to roll for our next direction, which is another small room. Straight into another small room. And there's 1 guard in here. So with any remove missions, it tends to be 3 to 5 enemies you're trying to beat. I'll stick with 3 because it's less to deal with on the lunch break. But yeah, so he bursts into a small room. And rolling, we get a 1. So there's a guard in here. So this is kind of like he's dived into the room and he's just going to be, hopefully, catching this guard by surprise to disarm him and keep moving as quick as he can. And that's a 5, which is a straight up pass. So, I'd imagine he's going at pace but quietly. That's what thieves are trained for. So he kind of rushes quietly into this room, maybe sees the guard through a window and manages to take him down quickly and quietly. Then we're moving straight into another small room. So again, I see this as like office blocks. So this could be him kind of going, probably has a memory of which way he was brought, but at the same time is trying to take the path of least resistance. So into another small office room. And I imagine it's all low lit, kind of just the kind of glare off lighting outside, maybe neon lighting flickering away. Sneaking into a small room, he finds another guard. And he's going to quickly try and dispatch this one the same as the last and roll in that. It's another 5. Which means we are burning through the guards, which is pretty nice. And we're just going to keep moving. The aim of the game is to get out. So, going to roll a 5 and... rolled a 5 and rolled another 5. Another small room. It's a 2, another guard, and another 5. So I'm using a digital roller, which is making it a bit quicker. But yeah, another 5 means another clear pass. 3 guards taken out in quick succession. So with that quest being complete, we're now going to sort of have to play it by ear. We could either have it that a loot is the portal to escape. That would make sense. But we'll just see how we go. So next we're rolling up is a 3, which is right turn, and then a 1, which is a straight, and then a 2, which is a left turn. So again, zigzaggy corridors. Rolling for a room, roll a 2, so that's a small room, single event. And hopefully we get a loot, and that will kind of tie things up and leave no loose ends. And it's not. it's a 5. Again, it's an NPC. So I would say this person is probably not a guard. Let's roll and see if they're from this realm. So asking the Oracle, are they from this realm? Which is a 5, yes. So do they know the way out? Yes. It's a yes and, so 6. So yes and would mean maybe they're happy to help Jax. Maybe they disgruntled employee or someone who's looking to make a bargain. Maybe there's more going on to this place than we realise, but they are happy to help, let's say. Yes and gives me an idea that yes, they know the way out, and they're leaning positively towards Jax. I'm just going to use a quick generator to come up with a name. So NPC generator, no gender, Pit. So this is Pit. Let's call Pit a disgruntled employee or someone looking to ally themselves, maybe with the Rune Walkers. To what end? We don't know. But let's just call it that the next room they come across is going to be the exit. So we'll roll a bit more mapping, try and build a bigger picture of this place. And we rolled 6. Of course we did. So 6 is a large room. So I'm going to call it that whatever they overcome in this room or find, there is also a portal, a way to exit. We've circled back round on ourselves, or at least found a portal to somewhere. So what's in this room? I imagine with 2 of them, they're now not travelling quietly. So forcing the door open, they come across a guard. And rolling that's only a 2, so that's losing another HP, taking from 5 down to 4. Not ideal. And then after beating that guard with some complication, we are rolling a trap. I'm going to say that this isn't a trap per se. It's a locked door. The portal they're trying to reach is beyond this locked door. So they're going to try and disarm the door, which he does with relative ease. That's a 5 plus 1 is a 6. And they step into the portal together, Jax and Pit, and escape. Where to? We may find out if we roll up another thief. Maybe I can use Jax. So far we've got a cleric, a mage, and a thief that we're kind of working with in this campaign from different realms. If you were playing yourself, you could play these as all individual characters in their own realms each time, but tying these stories together is kind of, it's helping build a campaign, and it's also probably helping or hopefully helping it be a bit more interesting for you, the listeners at home. So with that, Jax and Pit have escaped to who knows where. All I have to say is thank you for listening. Sixx is available on itch.io. I will drop the link in the description below. And by all means, comment what you think if you get a chance to play. Let me know how you get on, what adventures you have, what characters you come up with. Maybe there's some ideas I can weave into my own story. But for now, take it easy. Bye.